The Trail de Flores chapter of the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail Association presents the Floresville El Camino Trail. The Floresville El Camino Trail is part of the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail. At approximately 3 miles in length, it is the longest hikeable section of the entire El Camino Trail system. From the trail's southern trailhead near Floresville's Pecan Park, it runs northwestward to the trail's northern trailhead at the Riverbend Golf Course community. Trailhead signs, such as this one, provide orientation information and historical interpretation for the trail's user, and can be found at the Riverbend and Beer Warehouse trailheads. Now, please join us at the southern trailhead for a virtual tour of the trail. The Floresville El Camino Trail runs along the section of the historic route of the El Camino once referred to as La Bahia Road. It is thought the origin of the trail is rooted in the movement of indigenous tribes that once flourished in this region. In the late 17th through the mid-19th century, it became the primary route connecting the missions and presidios of present-day San Antonio and Goliad. This well-traveled route supported the movement of military personnel and equipment, new settler migration, and the goods and services of commerce. As such, it was instrumental in the settlement, development, and history of Texas. In the late 19th century, a railroad was run along or close to this historic trail. In 1993, Southern Pacific, the rail line owner at the time, stopped all rail service through Floresville. The city of Floresville had the foresight to see the potential of a rails-to-trails conversion and entered into a rail banking agreement with Southern Pacific that allowed the city to convert the abandoned line into a trail while allowing Southern Pacific the option of reactivating the line in the future. So what you're hiking on today began its life as a trail, evolved over time to a rail line, and is now a trail once again. After the lifting of Prohibition, the Missouri-based Falstaff Brewing Company greatly expanded and became the third largest brewer in America. Its purchase of the Galveston-Houston Brewing Company led to its expansion into Texas. Falstaff beer was distributed across Texas via train, and one of the stops was the Floresville Beer Warehouse. The building now is owned by the city of Floresville and used as a venue for weddings, conferences, group exercise classes, and other community events. Due to its historic nature, in proximity to the trail, it was chosen to be the site of the 2022 annual meeting of the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail Association. The San Antonio and Aransas Pass Railway was created in 1884 to connect San Antonio with a closer deepwater port than Galveston. In 1885, the Floresville Depot was built, the first along the rail line to Aransas Pass. The arrival of the railroad was a huge economic boost to the city. In 1885, it had a population of 400, and by 1890, it had grown to 1,500. The first train from San Antonio arrived soon after the depot was completed. The train had 5 passenger cars and carried over 900 people. The local newspaper reported that when the train arrived at Floresville at noon, the entire town was on hand to greet the excursionists. A procession was formed at the depot and marched to the courthouse. Old-fashioned barbecue pits had been dug on the spacious courthouse grounds. Long tables had been set up surrounding the square, and the ladies of Floresville had spared no effort to make that feast, attended by at least 2,000 people, a grand one. In attendance was the entire board of the railroad and then Governor John Ireland. Ironically, as a legislator, Ireland opposed granting lands and subsidies to railroads, earning him the nickname Oxcart John. The trains were giving interesting names. One of the trains serving Floresville was called the Davy Crockett. The Davy Crockett was a night train that ran between Corpus Christi and San Antonio. In 1898, Teddy Roosevelt, with the 1st U.S. Volunteer Cavalry Regiment, also known as the Rough Riders, along with their horses and equipment, rode that same train from San Antonio through Floresville on their way to Tampa, Florida. then on to Cuba, where they achieved their fame in the Battle of San Juan Hill. There are 3 historic sites along the trail recognized with markers by the Texas Historical Commission: Old Town Lodi, the Lodi Ferry, and the De La Zerda Cemetery. Lodi was the first settlement in Wilson County. Don Francisco Flores de Abrego established his hacienda there sometime before 1832. And his home, church, and cemetery became the nucleus of a community that was made county seat in 1867. Lodi lost its position as county seat to Sutherland Springs in March 1871, regained it in July 1871, and in 1873 lost it again, this time to Floresville, a new town site on the survey of the San Antonio and Aransas Pass Railway. After that, Lodi began to lose its identity as a distinct community and eventually became part of Floresville. The Lodi Ferry was established in 1871 to provide a convenient way to cross the San Antonio River. Until the late 19th century, travelers in Wilson County were limited to crossing the river at natural fords. In 1886, the county built a free bridge across the river nearby, and over time, travelers ceased using the ferry that had once provided local residents and travelers vital transportation access. The De La Zerda Cemetery is located on the high east bank of the San Antonio River in what was then the Lodi community. The cemetery is located on property that was purchased by Nemencio De La Zerda Sr. in 1837 from the De Arocha family, who were kin to his wife Maria de Jesus Perez, a Canary Islander descendant. The first documented burial was 1877, but it is believed there are earlier burials in unmarked graves. Now let's get back on the trail. As we continue the hike, just enjoy the scenery the trail offers as we head to the historic bridges found up ahead. From 2002 to 2007, the Texas Department of Transportation had an historic bridge preservation program that allowed bridges no longer suitable for vehicular traffic to be adopted and repurposed for uses such as hiking and biking trails. The Floresville El Camino Trail includes 2 bridges that were reconditioned and relocated to the trail as part of the program: the Red Bridge and the Black Bridge, named for, you guessed it, their color. The Red Bridge was relocated in 2005 from a farm in Kosciuszko, where it had been located since it was decommissioned years earlier. It's a 40,000-pound, 65-foot-long bridge built in the late 1890s and thought to have originally been part of County Road 225 or 228. Local legend is that it used to be a gathering place for Poth High School students. It now spans the Lodi Creek along the trail. The Black Bridge is a 3-span pony truss design originally built in 1917 on County Road 120, where it once spanned the San Antonio River. It was relocated to the trail in 2007, where it now spans the Seguin branch that feeds into the San Antonio River. Both the Camino Trail and the San Antonio River connect Goliad to San Antonio, and hence they are inextricably linked historically and geographically. Banks can be steep and the current can run fast after rains, making it an obstacle to cross, but it's a reliable source of water, making it essential to life. As we approach the Riverbend trailhead, the trail runs very close to the river, providing an insightful perspective of what trail travelers faced as they approach the river. Information panels such as this one are being installed along the trail to provide trail users a deeper understanding of the history of the trail. We have now come to the current trail's end at Riverbend, but plans are being explored to continue the trail both north to Mission Espada and south to Rancho del Cabos, completing our vision to provide the entire region a unique, recreational, and immersive history experience along what we call the Rancho to Mission section of the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail. We thank you for taking the time to experience this virtual tour of the Floresville El Camino Trail. We hope you find time to visit in person someday soon. We'd like to recognize our trail advocate partners, the National Park Service National Trails Office and the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail Association. We would also like to especially thank the City of Floresville for its devotion to the maintenance and development of the trail, making it possible for us all to enjoy this important historical resource. This has been a Trail de Flores production. We encourage you to share this video with everyone, but it may not be sold or used for any commercial purposes. For more information about this video, the trail, upcoming chapter events, or other chapter information, please contact us at traildeflores@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page, which can be found by searching Facebook for Trail de Flores.